So China already controls 2 of Panama's 5 main canal zone ports. Did you know that? And is planning on funding a new billion-dollar bridge over the Panama Canal. This is what China does. This is the Belt and Road strategy, which, by the way, was a part of the whole Hunter Biden thing. This is China trying to get its teeth into everything. They use money, and they have a lot of money, to buy influence over developing nations like Panama. They do a lot of this in Africa, too. The president of Panama saying, in regards to what Trump said, every square meter of the Panama Canal is Panama's and will continue to be. The sovereignty and independence of our country are not negotiable. But, I mean, Trump in the United States versus Panama and their president, I mean, give me a break. Trump firing back, we'll see about that. And then another post saying, welcome to the United States Canal. So Trump doing what he does. Gordon Chang is the author of Plan Red, China's project to destroy America. And we brought him in to talk more about all this. Gordon, good to see you. China buys up influence all over the world. Trump is seeing the CCP looking to commandeer this vital waterway between the East and our East Coast. He doesn't like it at all. Is he right?
Well, he's certainly right, because China's port facilities are at both ends of the canal. And when General Laura Richardson took a helicopter ride over the canal zone, this was the middle of 2022, she said she looked down and saw all of these dual-use facilities. Now, Evan Ellis, who could very well be America's #1 Latin America expert, was a little bit less polite when he said the Chinese could shut down the canal if it wanted to. And by the way, if you build a bridge over the canal, you can take a bridge down over the canal, block the waterway. And that's what I think what the Chinese are up to with this new infrastructure project of theirs. Because at a time of war, they could make the canal totally useless.
Yeah, I guess that's the first thing everybody thinks, right? If we get into some kind of contentious situation with China, which could be coming, a lot of people think it is coming at some point, in that moment, they get shut down. I mean, how vital is that artery? I guess is my other question. Obviously, we've got access to the East and to Asia and everything over there from our West Coast, but if you can't get it to the East Coast, that becomes a problem.
Yeah, they say that we have a 2-ocean navy. Well, we would have 2 separate navies. It'd be very difficult to get ships from the Atlantic to the Pacific or vice versa. You'd have to go around the Cape of Good Horn, the Straits of Magellan. And China is actually trying to build a naval base there. Now, fortunately, Javier Milei won the last presidential election, so the Chinese won't be able to do that. But the Chinese would like to close off South America in its entirety, from its north to its south.
These are, I mean, there's so many games that China plays like this. You know, people say that China's playing checkers and they're playing chess, we're all playing checkers. It's so interesting when Trump gets in, because he identifies things that nobody else in Washington sees or has a problem with. How in the hell have we just let China take over at least 2 ports in the Panama Canal? That just seems like a very obvious problem.
Yes, and we let China take over the Caribbean, some parts of Central America, and most of South America. So when you look at Latin America as a whole, if you take out Mexico, China is the largest trade partner of Latin America without Mexico. And that shows you how influential it is. And if you go from government to government in South America especially, you find China being there and we are not. This was really highlighted to the American people when in Peru at the APEC meeting, you know, Xi Jinping got the red carpet and Joe Biden was really humiliated many times during that session. So it shows you how influential China is in what we call our own backyard.
Yeah, it's interesting. And most Americans haven't thought about the Panama Canal since probably the 7th grade. And we're all getting a big lesson. And it's important stuff. Gordon Chang, keeping an eye on China for us. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Rob.
All right.